Yeah, go ahead. All right, folks, here we go. So I'm going to, again, I'll actually open the floor up first. So are there any specific questions you'd like to ask about multiple choice? Go ahead, Tatum. Number 5. Okay, so number 5. This one you have a couple options here. Okay, option 1, since it's just an equation. Okay, option 1, you could graph the left-hand side, graph the right-hand side, and find the point of intersection. I did that with Ava a little bit earlier. It's a little tricky about finding some of those points of intersection, but you can do it. It worked. All right, it worked. All right, make sure you type this in your calculator, though, with parentheses around the numerator, parentheses around the denominator, parentheses around the numerator, parentheses around the denominator. Okay? Shh. That's option 1. Option 2, it is multiple choice, so what other option could we use here? Guess and check. So you could just plug these in, okay, and for all your x's and see if it makes the equation true or not.
Wait, can I see you type into the calculator one time?
Like how to do that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you guys the easiest way I think to type in the calculator is this. Let me show you here. Ooh, that's way zoomed in, too far. Okay, so let's just say I want to do letter A there. I'm going to guess -1/4, okay? So what I'm going to do is something a little bit tricky here. So on your home screen, I'm going to type in just the -1/4, okay, value. I'm going to hit enter, okay? So that's like my last answer there. Then I'm going to press this STO button, which means store, STO for store. You see I have a little arrow there. Oh, question? Sure, go ahead. I'm going to store this in, and I'm going to press the X button. Okay? Now, whenever I use X on my home screen, it's going to be -0.25. Okay? That does not stay true for these. This will just be the variable X. Okay? So that is not -0.25. But anytime I use X on my home screen, it'll be -0.25. Now, what's the benefit of that? Well, now, when I go to type this into my calculator, I will do parentheses 2x plus 5. But what is x again? X is -0.25, right? So I'm typing in -0.25 there, but I'm using the x instead. And then divide by x minus 2. Hit enter. Okay, so I get -2 for the left-hand side. And I'll do 1 divided by 2x. And I get -2. So is the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side? Yes. And so I can immediately eliminate then B and D because they both have +1/4.
Can you go back for 1 second?
Sure.
The calculator. And then you gotta do 1 divided by
2x. Make sure you put parentheses around the 2x. Parentheses around the 2x. You should check me, yeah. So, all right. Let me also check to see if 2 works. Let me also check to see if +2 works. So now, what can I do here? Well, now I will do 2. I'll press the store button and then x. Okay. So 2 store x. Hit enter. And now, if I want to, I can go up. If you have the newer calculators, you can arrow up to the previous thing you typed. Hit enter, it copy and pastes it, except now all these x's are going to be 2's, and I'll hit enter. Ooh, divide by 0. So is 2 going to be an answer if it makes us divide by 0? No. So it can't be A, so it's got to be C. Let me check -2, though, just to make sure that that does work here. So quit, -2, store x. Okay, I get -0.25 on the left-hand side, and if I go back up here, I get -0.25 on the right-hand side. So yes, that letter C is correct. Okay, now that's the calculator way to do it. Tatum, real quick, I'll also show you the algebra way to do it here. You're going to cross multiply. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. X times 1 is x. Minus 2 times 1 is -2. Bring everything over to one side here, so we'll have 4x squared plus 9x plus 2 equals 0. Then I'm going to factor this. 4 times 2 is 8. I need 2 numbers that multiply to 8, but add to make 9. 1 and 8. Okay, factor by grouping. From here I can take out an x, so I'm left with 4x plus 1. From here I can take out a 2, so I'm left with 4x plus 1. And then the 4x plus 1's factor in common there. And then you can see there's your -1/4, there's your -2 that you're going to get as well. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve from there. Okay? Dot, dot, dot. Okay? I really do feel like solving this algebraically is probably the easiest way to do it, but if you guys want to use your calculators, you can. Okay? It does work that way too. All right. Other questions? I thought I saw a hand. Mike, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
It's just like a quick question.
Sure.
Number 11, would it be C?
Okay, yeah, so number 11, okay, we are going to shift down 4, right 8, but there's no negative, so it does not reflect. Only if you have a negative in front here would you reflect. So it's just down 4, right, or right 8, down 4. Okay, so it's going to be C. There. Okay, other questions? Yes, Ava.
So,
Wait, real quick. Go ahead, Mike. You had a question?
he says if it's a negative in front of the...
If it's a negative in front or a negative coefficient up here, okay, then it'd be reflected over the x-axis.
Okay, I got it.
14, you said, Ava? All right, 14. Okay. So yeah, so here's one that your calculator maybe won't help you a whole lot. I mean, one thing you could do, you could guess and check here, right? I mean, it says solve for x. So you could like try 10 pi in here, simplify it, see if you get 4. Plug in 102.4 pi, simplify it, see if you get 4. But let's actually do it the straightforward way. I think it's a little bit easier this way. So to get to the x, how can I get rid of this cube root here? What do you do to undo a cube root? Cube it. Yeah, we're going to cube the right and cube the left. Well, cube the left and cube the right there, okay? All right, so this just becomes 8x over 5 pi. This becomes 4 times 4 is 64 times 4 is 256, I think. Okay, make sure I did that right. I'm like 99%. Oh, no, Mr. Wid. Too much, yeah. I went to 2 to the 4 to the 4th there. All right, sorry. Okay, next step here, Ava. To get the x by itself, what should we do? Well, there is division, so to undo division, what should we do to both sides? Opposite of division. It's not subtraction. Multiply. Multiply. Multiply both sides by 5 pi. So we have 8x equals 64 times 5 is, so it's 320 pi. Notice I'm not multiplying that pi with the 320 because it says to leave our answers in terms of pi. That means we don't want to multiply the pi through. Last step there, Ava, what could we do with the x by itself? Divide by? By 8. So x is 40 pi. D is the answer there. Okay? You're welcome. Other questions? Anything else you guys would like me to go over? Otherwise, I'll pick a few to highlight here. Any other questions? Which one? You're right. I'm going to recommend some questions then. No other specific questions from you guys? No other audience choice? All right. So at 15, now let's look at 15. I want to do 15 as well because this is an inverse problem, right? So to find the inverse, instead of f of x, I'm going to write y equals 1/3 x plus 9 to the 4th. Okay? To find an inverse, what do we do with our x's and our y's? Swap them. So it'll become x equals 1/3 times y plus 9 to the 4th. But we're not done yet because now we need to solve for what variable here? Well, it's already solved for x, so we really need to solve for what? Get the y by itself here. Okay, so this can get a little tricky here, all right? What's with the y that we need to get rid of? The 1/3. Okay, eventually also the plus 9. Eventually also the 4th power there. But the 1/3 is the first thing we want to get rid of. How can we get rid of 1/3? Yeah, we could divide both sides by 1/3, but I like it better when you said multiply by 3 on both sides. Okay, 3 times 1/3 will cancel, so we'll have 3x equals y plus 9 to the 4th. Okay, what's the next thing we want to get rid of here? The exponent here for the exponent. So how to get rid of a 4th power? 4th root. So root 4 or 4th root. Okay, so we have the 4th root of 3x equals y plus 9. Now typically when we do a 4th root or a square root or a 6th root, we should have a plus or minus in front here, but this tells us we only need the positive version. Okay, that tells us we only need the positive version. I'm not going to put plus or minus. All right, last step. What's with the y I need to get rid of? The 9. So we have a plus 9, so I should subtract 9. Okay, so I'll have y equals the 4th root of 3x minus 9. Okay, and that matches to A, B, C, or D here. A. That's right. So, why we do the 4th root here?
Yeah.
Because y plus 9 was to the 4th power. We had to cancel out that 4th power there, so use the 4th root on both sides. 4th root of something to the 4th, they cancel. Just y
And that's the answer is number A.
The answer is A, correct. Yes, because that matches, right, to letter A there. Okay. It is the inverse. All right. Questions on 15? Other questions on 15? I have a few more I want to go over them. All right, so let's take a look then at another one that your calculator kind of can help you with, but not super great. Let's look at like 13, for example. Okay, 13, I'm going to zoom in some more on this one. 13, the directions to say which of the listed functions is equivalent to the following. So basically, we just want to simplify this and then get our answer here. So just use your exponent rules. Here we have a power, 12, right, is our power, raised to another power. When you have a power raised to a power, how do you simplify those powers? Multiplies. It becomes 12 times 1/4 is 3. Same thing down here, right? We just repeat that. 8 times negative 5/4 is going to be negative 10. Okay? Now, when we divide, what do we do with our exponents? Subtract. So it's 3 minus a negative 10. 3 take away negative 10 is positive 13. Okay? And that is which answer? Yeah, it's B. It's not that bad. Okay, B is our answer there. All right, number 12. I want to look at number 12 as well. There's a lot of writing here for a problem that's really not that hard to do, but it's just a lot of going on. So I'm just going to read through it real quick. A 12-ounce can of soda contains 33 grams of sugar. After consuming the soda, the sugar in a person's bloodstream decreases by 2% every 15 minutes. This can be modeled using the following expression. F of t equals 33 times 1 minus 0.02 over 4 to the 4t, where f of t represents the sugar remaining in the bloodstream and t is the time in hours since it was consumed. Which of the following would be an expression to find the amount of sugar remaining in their bloodstream after t hours? Okay, so the simplified equation is, so that clues us in here. We're just trying to take this here and simplify it. That's all we're doing. All this paragraph of information is just to say, what is the simplified, which of the following could be an expression? The simplified equation is. So basically we're just taking this and we're simplifying it. So when you see a problem like this tomorrow, okay, really hone in, focus in on the question. And then what it says here, the simplified equation is. We're just simplifying it. Okay, so let's take this and simplify it here. Okay, so what can we do to simplify this? What kind of math do you see that we can do? What can we do to simplify this? Or how can we simplify it?
No. You multiply, you do the square root of both sides.
Okay, so just let's deal with our order of operations here first, right? Parentheses. We have parentheses, right? And so let's simplify what's in the parentheses first. We have 1 minus 0.02 divided by 4. So in my calculator, I'm just going to type in 1 minus 0.02 divided by 4. Whoops, that is like way zoomed in. There we go. 1 minus 0.02 divided by 4 equals 0.995. So now I have 33 times 0.995 to the 4t. Okay? Do I see this? Do I see this over here anywhere? Okay? It looks like A, but are these the exact same thing? What's missing for the A answer? It doesn't have the fourth power. So is A the answer? No. It's put there to throw you off. Please be careful. All right, well, if A is not the answer, then it looks like I still have some more work to do over here. I see that I have the 33 in front, and all these have the 33 in front. I have a t for an exponent, but I also have a 4 for an exponent here too. And none of these have a 4 for an exponent. So I got to take this 0.995 and raise it to the fourth power. So I'm going to take my 0.995 to the fourth. 0.9801. 0.9801. The answer is C. Okay?
So why isn't that the other one?
Why isn't A? Because look here, the exponent is only a t, but for us, when we did the 1 minus 0.02 divided by 4, we still have a to the 4t. So there's still a 4 in our exponent there that letter A does not have.
So why's the answer?
C?
Yeah.
Because,
what did you do?
so, well, look what I did here. I started with this, and I went to here. What's the difference? The 4, I did 0.995 to the 4th.
Yeah.
I typed that in the calculator. 0.995, my answer to the 4th, gave me that.
Okay, so I did.
Okay? Sorry? I simplified what was in the parentheses there. 1 minus 0.02 divided by 4. It's like just doing what's in the parentheses there. Okay, we're taking this more complex looking function and we're just simplifying it down to something that's not quite so bad, right? This looks like a times b to the x, a times b to the x, right?
So you just did 1 minus that and then got 0.995.
Yep. And then did that to the 4th power.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. Again, just doing the math that you see there. Simplify it. All right, that was number 12. All right, I want to talk about number 9 next. Number 9. Okay. Simplest radical form. So here we're taking a square root. Okay, so remember that's equal to the square root of 40 times the square root of x to the 5th. I'm going to break this up. Okay. Is 40 a perfect square? Is 40 a perfect square?
Yes. No.
No, it's not. And you can check it just to make sure here. Just do square root of 40. And you can see it's not a perfect square, right? Can we divide 40 by any perfect squares? 4, yes, 4, right? So we'll break 40 up into 4 and 10. Okay. X to the 5th is also not a perfect square, but I can make it x squared times x to the 1. Y to the 6th is a perfect square, but I'll go ahead and break that up. It's y squared times y squared times y squared. And then we have the square root of z. Okay. What is the square root of 4? It's 2. Square root of 10. Are there any perfect squares that divide 10? No. So that's going to stay root 10. What's the square root of x squared? Well, it's just going to be x. And then that will also become an x. And then we're left with the square root of x to the 1st, right? That x stays inside the square root there because it's not a perfect square. And then all 3 of these y's will become square root of y squared is y, square root of y squared is y, square root of y squared is y. And then we have the square root of z, which is also not a perfect square. Okay, oops, sorry. So here are all of our pieces. Let's collect the ones that are outside the square root together, and we'll collect the ones that are inside the square root together. So on the outside, we're going to have a 2, and then x to the 2, x to the squared, and we have y to the 3rd. And then inside the square root, we have the 10, the x, and the z. Okay, so what is the answer? D is the answer. Okay. All right, let's see if there's anything else I really wanted to show you here. The last thing here, I just want to show this, why you were asking about this one. This one, again, identify the equation as equivalent to this. For this one here, for number 8, you want to rewrite everything as a power of 4. 16 is 4 squared. 64 is 4 to the 3rd. Over 4 to the x. Okay, so why? This is what you were asking about here. You got it, okay? 3 would distribute to the x and the minus 1, so it would be 4 to the 3x minus 3 over 4 to the x equals 4 to the 2. Okay, and then subtract your exponents. 3x minus 3, take away an x, will be 2x minus 3. And so there is what you can match to, which is going to be letter B. Okay. Please, 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 folks. You can do well on this tomorrow. Okay, a lot of you guys can bring your grades up, up, up. Remember that this test can count twice for you, okay? Oh, I'll get you in a second here.
Should I just leave it on the desk?
I'll come get it. Please look at this tonight, folks. Please look at this tonight. Watch the videos if you need to, okay? You guys can do really well if you put the effort in, okay? I'll also be available after school today until 3:30, so if you want to come and get some extra help after school, I'll be there as well, okay? You don't have to stay till 3:30. You can stay as long as you want, but I'll be there until 3:30 in B200. So please feel free to come by B200. There are snacks. I know, right? After school snacks.